Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I will be doing a book review on the book called Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. And I hope you guys enjoy it. So let's get on with it. I have talking points I'm going to be using. There are 14 of them, no 13 of them. There are 13 of them. First of which is that children are made in tubes in a lab. So basically, just what it says, children are made in tubes in a lab. They are not born, nobody gets pregnant, nobody gives birth, there are no mothers or fathers. There is only world controllers, directors of hatcheries. That's the closest thing to the father is the director of hatcheries, and the closest thing to a mother is the hundreds of the middle caste workers that work on conditioning the eggs into their caste or their class. There are as many as 100 twins from each egg. So basically, there is 100 people who look exactly the same from each egg. It's crazy. And that's only if they Boskanoscify them. I can't pronounce that, so I apologize. The second talking point is that Soma, which is their holiday drug, it basically gives them a real good trip. And it's just a drug, that's all it is. It's like cocaine. It's just a drug. I don't think I need to say any more on that. Number 3 is God is real, but civilization does not know it. The world controllers make sure of that people do not know who God is. Basically, the world controllers think that if people start believing that there's a God, society will crumble, because then they'll start having grand ideas and start thinking, oh, my purpose is greater than this. My purpose is greater than helping everybody else, and everybody belongs to everybody, and all that jazz. And yeah, women and men can have each other freely. The right way is to have different men every time. So basically, everybody belongs to everybody. You're allowed to do whatever you want to anybody. There's no marriage, there's no nothing like that. Having one man or one woman for a prolonged period of time is considered bad, wrong, and just like you need reconditioning almost. I'm not going to get too much into this one because it's a little not very good, but children have erotic play sessions with each other, which, again, I'm not going to get into it because I'd rather not. You are conditioned from birth, which technically you're conditioned from conception, because you are conditioned to, like, be a certain way while you're still in the tube, in the test tube. The conditioning depends on the caste you're in. So basically, there a couple of them that I remember are alpha, alpha plus, gamma, beta, delta. Yeah, those are just some of the cases. Oh, and epsilons. Epsilons are apparently semi-morons who cannot think for themselves and follow whatever they are told to do. But you're conditioned depending on your case. So, yeah. Alphas order everyone else around. Alphas also have their own helicopters, from what I'm aware of. That's what it sounded like in the book. There is something called a savage reservation, which basically it's an Indian reservation, but they're caged in. The cage walls, or walls, I guess, they are wire and they are electrified, so if you touch them, you're dead. So they cannot get out. Now, one of the storylines that was in the book was about a woman who lived in the Savage Reservation, the Indian Reservation, excuse me. And her son, she actually gave birth to a son, but she was raised in the other world, which is the civilized world, or what is considered civilized. And she was made pregnant by one of the directors and then also shot off a mountain because she was pregnant by him and he didn't want anybody to know. So people from the civilized world visited, and then her and her son were brought back because the world controller wanted to examine and observe the savage. It ended with the director of hatcheries resigning because he didn't want to get in trouble. So, then the world controller admitted to there probably being a god, but he wouldn't tell civilization that because it could ruin stability. Like I said, if they start believing in God, they could get the grand idea that their purpose is more than what they're currently doing. The boy who was given birth to stood up to the world controller and asked questions that very well could have dismantled society. He asked questions like, well, why aren't books allowed to be read? Why do they have to always be doing something? Why can't they have solitude? Why can't they have this or that? And the world controller just countered it. But the world controller also agreed with him that yes, these things are good, but we don't have them because that's not how it works. And it was just, he's so hypocritical, basically, because what he's doing does not line up with what he believes. They have no old books, only new material. They are taught to throw away old things and buy new. Conditioned to do it. In the hypnopedic thing that they had when they were kids, one of the monologues is stitches equals less riches. And I think that's crazy. Because why not mend your old clothes? If you really like them, why not mend them? But then again, they are conditioned to think that new things are better than old. So, yeah. I've already discussed Soma. I don't think I need to get into any more of that. The world controller knows old books are good and knows God is good, if he's there. But ban them because it's not good to like old things or follow old teachings in this society. You start having feelings or thoughts that counter what is right, and then you'll get sent to an island of people like you. So basically, if you have grand ideas or you feel like your sense of purpose is more than what is there, you'll get sent to an island that have people with like minds. In the book, there were two men that got sent to an island because they were having grand ideas and wanting to write about things that weren't right in society and all that jazz. And so they were sent off to an island. Women are conditioned to take birth control at a very young age. It's either 14 or 17, and I know that's a big age gap. I'm not sure which. I know that both ages were mentioned, so I'm not really sure. They're taught that having a baby is bad, but there are abortion centers if someone does get pregnant, which I feel is horrible. Oh, and something that the world controller said to the Indian, well, he's not really Indian, but the boy that was raised in an Indian reservation, was that people are independent of God. And if you are independent of God, then you don't have a need for him because he's not going to hurt you. He's not there for you, whatever. Now, that is a huge lie, and I tried to talk to my dad about this last night, and, basically, you're not independent of God at all. And even if you feel like you are, even if you're not following him, you're still gonna go to hell when you, like, die. So, you're not independent of God. And that is my feelings on the subject. You may feel differently. But that is my truth. That is what I know to be true. And your truth may be something different. So, I apologize if I offended anybody, but that is my truth. I think that is it for the video. So if you liked it, give it a thumbs up and subscribe down below. And stay tuned for more videos. Thanks, guys. Bye.